All right, welcome back. I know what you're gonna say. That's not my usual background, but that is one of my favorite knives, so we got something consistent. I got one too many dents in the figured maple and decided to throw down a little bit of a different wood here just to try and protect it a bit more. So hope you don't miss it too much. It's in there, I promise, but this also gives me a good center of screen orientation. So we got a new knife, and this one is very exciting. It is a textured S45 yen Demko AD20S machine ground, slotted, shark's foot. I'd say for a lot of people, this is one of the ultimate Demkos. And I gotta say, I'm probably included in that crowd. But there's one little difference here from another one that I have, and we're going to bring that out as well. And this is a good time to do a more detailed AD20S review. I've got a couple that are not here, unfortunately, but I'll talk about those variants as well and some of the other variants I'm aware of. But Demko has created all sorts of different AD20S variants. This being one of them. This is a shark's foot with a slot. And the titanium, if you see it, is not milled out, making it a pretty heavy variant, which is not for everyone. Now, this one's brand new in box, so it'll take a sec to loosen up here, but feels great as usual. And sorry, let me come around the side here. Whoops, there we go. And we're back. Everything feels great. This is, however, fairly heavy, and Demko knew that not everyone would want a big slab of titanium. And so let's go through some of what I know and some of what I have and see what it takes to get that 7.35 ounces down to something that someone might like a little more. Wait a minute, that's the same knife. Looks like it. Sorry. Part of my new setup is unfortunately that I have a big tripod boom right in my face, so this is a little bit of a problem for deploying the knives, but we'll get it figured out. It may look similar, but there are differences, and it starts here. So this one has milling out of the scales, so you can see there. This one's a big slab of titanium, and this one's got milling out of the scales there. Try and make that as easy for you to see as possible. I realize on camera, that's not always easy. So again, 7.35 ounces on the full tie, or all tie, I think it's called. And then the lightweight, wow, a whole ounce lighter. So that is impressive. To me, that is a really significant drop. And I have a couple more lightweights over here. So you can see in there, that's a lightweight clip point, full smooth tie, 6.6 ounces, and a lightweight, I'm sorry, I said clip point. AD20S are drop point. Sorry about that. Just a clarification. And a shark's foot, also lightweight. 6.5, 6.6-ish. I think this was 6.3. I think that they actually mill that down. I'm not 100% sure, but I think they may mill that out of the titanium, so these might be a little lighter on the textured, but I'm not 100% sure how that works. So they may use the same piece of titanium, but then mill out the texture. And then 7.35, which is a great opportunity. I haven't brought this one out for a while, to bring back the carbon fiber, because carbon fiber is an amazingly strong, lightweight material. This is also a shark's foot slotted. You'll notice all my tie are slotted and my carbon is slotted here. 5.1 ounces, wow. Wow, that is way lighter. So let's do it like this. Make sure we can get these all in here. So that's 5.1 ounces. Huge drop there, huge drop. G10, slotted. That's 45 yen. We'll go into metals next. 5.45 ounces. Oops. I'm gonna have to learn how to work with this new background here. How are we gonna do this? Start another row. And we're just gonna go 80. I'm so tempted to like go outside of the AD20S, and I got a feeling a couple more will come out today, but I'm trying to be, you know what, I can't do it. All right, 80-20. 80-20 is clip point versus drop point. I think this one's also, oh, this one's 20V. 6.25 ounces, right? So you're like 0.8 ounces more for G10 versus G10, but I'm gonna take that guy out of there because we're really focused on 80-20S. Camo, L-Max, slotted, shark's foot. 5.5 ounces. So very similar. Again, potentially that they, you know, the texturing is different here. I don't know how exactly Demko does that. Non-slotted D2 G10 80-20S. 5.45, so it doesn't make that big of a difference. I thought that might bump up the weight a little bit without the slot, but it's not a huge difference. Grivory non-slotted 80-20S. Notice it doesn't say 80-20S on there like it does with the Grivory 80-20, 0.5 rather. So that's interesting. This one is D2, 5.15 ounces. So the Grivory definitely dropped some weight. You might be wondering, is that milled out? No, it's not. So not milled here, not milled on the G10 variants either. Oops. So none of those are milled. And there's a couple more that I have. There's like Grivory and a G10 S45VN orange and a Grivory gray that I'm really excited to get because, as you may know, my go-to, and it's finally back in its normal scales, is a Grivory gray, 80-20.5, and I love it. And right now it's sitting with skiff bearings in it, which I don't know if it's made a difference or not. Mine was already so good, it's hard to say. But there's my little 80-20.5. Now I have more, but the goal here was to just focus on 80-20.5. I also have 3 80-20s, an 80-20 custom ground, a few others. Let me pull out the two of the 80-20s. What I really like to do is get my hands on an 80-20 in a textured tie, as well as a textured tie drop point. Those are my kind of missing jewels from the collection. So I'm willing to do some trades or buys on those. But this is one of my favorite knives I have. It's an L-Max 80-20 new inbox with the tan DLT exclusive, and that is 6.2. Throw that up here. And then this is a CPM 20V 80-20. This one was actually carried and resharpened. I have another in, I don't think it's M390. I did see one in M390, which I didn't even know they had made some, but some of the very early custom ones on the 80-20s. So pretty close to the same weight, 6.25 ounces. I've never really known if the blade steels themselves made a difference in the weight or not. But these two do seem to have a slightly different weight. It could be the handle material is slightly different, the G10, one being tan and versus the other one, but they're generally the same knife here. Oops, do it like that. So there's some 8020s. This is quickly turning into what I tried not to let it be, which is a Demko video all around. I really wanted to focus on the AD20S, so let's get this out of here. So I think it's a D2, I'll have to double check. I think it's a D2 Grivory inbound. I think it's with a slot, but I'd have to double check. And with a slot, S45VN. And then there's one more coming in there. Oh, it's an AD20.5 3V Grivory, which is a Knife Center exclusive. So I'm excited to get that. It's not here, but it's a red handle. So that's part of a 3-knife buy I got from a guy. And I feel like I said LMAX on this. I think I said LMAX on this, by the way. I meant to say crew wear, so my apologies on that. This is you can see that CW is crew wear. It's a crew wear. I think I said LMAX because I think this one's LMAX. Which just further emphasizes what's pretty wild about Demko. So you've got, oh, I didn't even go through the blade steels on these, so that's a great place to go from here. So S45VN, full weight. You've got an S45VN lightweight, textured. You've got a lightweight, smooth 204P. It's interesting, I think it's facing the wrong direction. Maybe this one, oh yeah, they're all the same. 204P, I'm facing them in the wrong direction. So that's interesting. I hadn't seen many in the 204P. There are some out there. I saw one on eBay. S45VN, did a lot of S45VN on these ties, it looks like. Lightweight, smooth. And then I believe also S45VN on the carbon here, which is one of my favorites. So smooth, it would not be something I'd really like to carry. It feels like you'd scratch it. It feels like it'd slip out of your hand potentially. So from that perspective, it's not my favorite. I do also have an AD20.5 carbon on the way to see how that is. I'm hoping it's a little more porous than this. This is so smooth. I don't know if you can, let me go up close and you can maybe see just how smooth it is. But that finish is like really smooth. And so you'd have to want that kind of very extremely smooth in hand finish if you're going carbon, because it's not like the kind of rough carbon that gets some nice traction in your hand and feels like plastic or G10 or something. It's a super smooth carbon finish on this AD20S. This G10 is S45VN. This G10 is LMAX. This G10 is D2. And this Grivory is D2. And that is like one of the big differences on the Grivory, if you're trying to pick it out, is that it has the smooth landing pad for the pocket clip. And then these two being non-slotted. I think I have another non-slotted coming in, if not two. So super interesting what Demko has done with this like line of knives, I feel like. It feels different to me than what a lot of other knife manufacturers have done over the years. Let's maybe get out a couple of variants and lay them out as well. Let's put this guy over here. As you can see, it's been very challenging to get drop points. I've gotten a lot of shark's foot. Sorry, our 3-year-old's over here. He's under the weather this week, unfortunately, so you'll hear him coughing a little bit in the background. Okay, G10. See, maybe I can fit them all on here. Yeah, it looks like I can fit on here, which is great. Opened. So in that case, this one will just be a little off the screen, but I've already got a pretty good example of that on here. I guess we can get it on the screen by going up to here, huh? At least close enough. And I'll just move the camera over slightly. And that's about, maybe I can go up a little higher. Cool. There you go. So really quite a neat variety that Demko's put out there. You know, I feel like it's one of those knife makers that, he's one of those knife makers, or the family's one of those knife makers that just likes knives, and like they want to produce a lot of variants because they love the different variants, and they realize different people are going to love those different variants. They're just passionate about the product. And I think it really is expressed here in the various examples that you're seeing. I feel like there's just a little empty pocket here, so we're going to throw in an 80/20 in sheet here since we don't have all the 80/20S's in today. You know what, let's put this up here. I know you're going to be like, okay, this guy's one of those guys, but we're trying to have some fun here with this layout. I feel like this is the right layout. Get the G10s, and then we'll get this G10 over here. Put the carbon there. And that's a pretty cool layout for what's going on here. And let's try and bring everything back into frame. Whew, a lot of sweet knives, a lot of very beautifully put together variants of the Demko AD20S. At some point in the next few weeks, I'm going to do an all Demko collection video that I've been working on, thinking about in sort of assembling, taking a look at many different variants, including 80/20.5s. You'll see there's some pretty big differences, even in just the 80/20.5 variants, from the 3V steel to the AS10A to the D2 to the Grivory, never made in G10 that I'm aware of, at least. You can get aftermarket from Demko, but I'm not aware of that carbon. So the 80/20.5s are super interesting, obviously more readily available, made in Taiwan. The 80/20s, which are legendary at this point, massive, massive knives, beautiful knives, just these, you know, totally taking it to the next level in terms of size and stuff. Let's compare this drop point and clip point, blade stock thickness and whatnot. And just my overall thoughts on Demko. So I'm not going to go too much into Demko as a whole. I'm going to do a little bit of research and stuff and try and bring that to that video. But just wanted to get all these together, show them all at once on the 80/20S. There are 2 missing here from the collection that will be featured in the all Demko video once I drop it. But just a really remarkable set of knives. I think that, you know, to me, this is the most exciting part of my collection. There's like 1 or 2 knives non-Demko that I'm also super excited about, like the Rockstead and yeah, just a few others. But this really, I got a Medford that's pretty wowing. this to me is like, in terms of what is great in 2022, really epitomizes great knife making for folders. You know, a really good lock in terms of the shark lock, really good fidgetiness, the elegance, the beauty of the knives, particularly you get into like the clip points and the drop points. You know, the shark's foot, a lot of people believe is, you know, the ultimate daily carry. I'm one of them. My daily carry is absolutely a shark's foot, just a off the shelf, run of the mill shark's foot 80-20.5 is what spends its time in my pocket when I'm wearing pants. In shorts, you might see me with like a bug out, or a bug out mini. That was awesome. But gotta love doing videos live. You know, these to me are really some of the coolest knives that are on the market when you can get them, because they're only like semi on the market on the 20S, you know, when they're being made and produced and stuff. Let's see if I can just pull over a little bit of a different lighting here also. Light up some of these in a little bit of a different way for you. And yeah, to me, this took a lot of time to like figure out and learn about the AD20S variants. I've still got a lot to learn. There are more out there that I wasn't even aware of. I'd love to get a carbon drop point and a textured drop point to sort of finalize the collection. So if you see them, know of them, please feel free to reach out. Or if you even have one that you'd like me to review or look at or share with the community, feel free to send it. In my all Demko video, I'll also be sharing my, you may have seen it in one of the other videos, custom hand ground. You know, that's certainly part of what's going on with Demko as well, but really focusing on the Shark's Lock in particular. You know, these modern Demko knives, this AD20S series is really both something to be reckoned with, but something to love and appreciate. So hope you enjoyed just learning a little bit and or viewing some of these knives and hearing my thoughts on them. Please like and subscribe, and let me know if I missed anything, correct anything I got wrong in the video, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks and take care.